Gustave Flaubert, the 19th-century French literary giant, is famous for his extreme pursuit of details and his profound exploration of the realist style. Not only is he one of the important pioneers of naturalistic literature, but his works also have strong psychological description features. Flaubert's works are often full of in-depth discussions of human nature and social phenomena. He is good at depicting the complex inner world of characters through delicate brushwork. This unique writing technique not only caused great repercussions at the time, but also provided valuable reference for later writers. Flaubert was born on December 12, 1821 in Rouen, France, into a family of doctors. His generous family background should have made his life smooth, full of comfort and enjoyment, but he disdained the conventional path of life. He has shown a strong interest in literature since childhood. He compiled a handwritten tabloid when he was 9 years old. His love for literature had quietly sprouted at a young age. However, the trajectory of his destiny did not develop as his family expected. After graduating from high school, he entered the Paris University Law School according to his father's arrangement. However, he had no interest in law and devoted more time and energy to literary creation and reading. In 1846, after his father passed away, Flaubert received a lot of inheritance and lived with his mother at the manor of Creuset. In this manner, he began to devote himself to creation until the end of his life. Although the path of creation was not smooth sailing, he was almost demanding on his works and often spent a lot of time pondering and modifying every detail, striving to achieve perfection. But this did not stop him from pursuing his literary dream. Each of his works, such as Madame Bovary, Emotional Education, and The Temptation of Saint Anthony, seems to be a treasure in the literary treasure house, shining with a unique light. Flaubert's influence was not limited to literature. His masterpiece Madame Bovary is considered the beginning of modern novels. It breaks the traditional narrative structure and leads readers to a more realistic human nature and social reality. This work reveals the hypocrisy, desire, and despair in French rural life in the 19th century by telling the tragedy of Emma Bovary's life. In addition, Emotional Education reflects the great changes in French society in the mid-19th century and the conflict between young people's ideals and reality through the description of the life experience of the protagonist Frederick Moreau. Flaubert's life can be said to be a portrayal of a lonely and pure artist. He doesn't have many friends and doesn't like to socialize, but he has deep emotional entanglements with many women. These experiences provided him with rich material and inspiration for literary creation. He lived a life of indifference and indifference to the world. He regarded art as his religion and devoted himself wholeheartedly to literary creation. He pursued an ideal style that would not allow himself to use the same word twice on the same page. His strict demands on language are related to his rigorous character. He hates the half of bourgeois character and pursues a pure and ultimate artistic realm. Flaubert was not only an outstanding novelist, but also a witness and recorder of an era. His works transcend the boundaries of time and space and touch every soul eager to understand the deep secrets of human nature. Whether in the history of literature or in the hearts of ordinary readers, Flaubert has left a mark. By in-depth understanding of his life story and creative achievements, we can understand this great writer more comprehensively and draw wisdom and strength from it. In China's current cultural context, Flaubert's works still have far-reaching enlightenment significance. Through his profound analysis of human nature and keen insight into society, he provides us with a mirror so that we can better understand ourselves and society. His literary concepts and creative methods also provide valuable reference and inspiration for our literary creation. With his unique growth trajectory, profound achievements and influence, and high praise from later generations, Flaubert has become an indelible master in the history of literature. His works and thoughts not only changed the face of novels, but also profoundly affected the development of the entire literary world. For those who are afraid of danger, there is always danger in the world. Sometimes I may be so fragile that I burst into tears with just one sentence. Sometimes I find myself gritting my teeth and walking a long way. Everything is based on vanity. Even what we call conscience ultimately contains the germ of vanity. Before getting married, I thought I had love, but after getting married, I didn't see the happiness, joy, passion, and intoxication that love brings. What do these beautiful words I read in books mean in life? She longed for answers. The broadest and smoothest road is the one you have already walked. Life was as bleak as a rooftop with a north-facing skylight, and boredom was like an unknown spider spinning its web in every dark corner of her heart. The most glorious day in a person's life is not the day when he or she achieves success, but the day when the challenge to life emerges from lamentation and despair, and the day when one bravely moves towards will. A great artist wastes his body like a candle burning at both ends. She loves the sea only for its rough waves, and only loves the green grass that grows among the ruins. True love is unconditional surrender between both parties. Genius is nothing more than long-term patience. Work hard. She thought she could sit back and relax in the house, but she didn't know that cracks had appeared in the wall. After experiencing a sad scene, people often have an indescribable sense of excitement. Behind every smile is a tired yawn. People often have to understand what kind of person they love in order to truly understand themselves, because the true object of love is an expression of their own essence. The poorest person is without talent, and the meanest person is without ambition. Stupidity, selfishness, and health are the three elements of happiness. Without stupidity, all happiness will be lost. Travel makes you humble, and you realize how small your place is in the world. Because you insult idiots, you may become an idiot yourself. An event can sometimes have an infinite impact and can change a person's entire life. Literature is like fire in a furnace. We borrow fire from others, light it ourselves, and then pass it on to others, so that it becomes common to everyone. Language is an extension machine, forever lengthening feelings. Of all lies, art is the truest. Talent is the reward for long-term hard work. In love, one can forgive serious indiscretions, but not those who are unfaithful. Life is a nasty thing, and the only way to endure it is to escape. She opened her desperate eyes wide and watched the loneliness of her life. Like a sailor who has sunk his ship, she searches for the white sails in the foggy horizon. Genius is not something to be admired. It is just a form of mental illness. The two were far apart, and the fire of love gradually extinguished. As time went by, the regret in her heart faded, and the dim fire that once illuminated her was shrouded in more dark clouds and gradually died away. Don't practice it yourself. Happiness lies in your heartbeat, not your actions. Pleasure begins with anticipation and ends with remembrance. The future is a dark corridor with a locked door at the end. Our ignorance of history leads us to malign our own time. People always do. The poor man whose reason blindly obeys his desires is just as right as the serious man who turns his ear to reason. Our century is the century of prostitution. To this day, the least lewd people are prostitutes. Beauty often comes from usefulness. Literary criticism thrives on a lot of nonsense. When you are disappointed every day in life, you can comfort yourself by placing your thoughts on your noble character, pure feelings, and happiness. People who fail to be artists often turn into critics, just like people who fail to become soldiers often turn to the enemy to inform. Stupidity lies in the desire to draw conclusions. The word fate always touches people. A woman must have her own house, her own car, and a job with an annual income of 200,000 yuan, so that her life will be more comfortable. People who are starting to get older look younger, while young people have older faces. Rather than doing good out of love for others, it's more about respecting yourself. All the classics have only one theme, that is adultery. People always need to assume that they are someone else, and constantly lie to themselves. Reason, the poor man who blindly follows desires, as true as the serious man who has an ear for reason. The unrealistic pursuit of ambiguous romance and the replacement of life with love constructed in imagination are ultimately a mockery and damage to real life. Young people, you should never forget ... Talent is long-term perseverance. Just work hard. His expressions of affection became routine. He even kissed her for a certain amount of time. Hugging is just a habit, like that boring snack after a boring dinner. From then on, her life was filled with lies. She covers her love with lies like a veil covering her face. The meeting was over and the crowd dispersed. Now that the speeches had been read, everyone returned to their original positions and resumed their old lives. The master cursed the servants, and the servants whipped the animals. The prize animals returned to their stalls, with the green crowns indifferently pulled by their horns.